should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. Preferably in a residential area.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour.
What up? What is happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And on the phone line, I'm very pumped about this guest, is the very talented artist, Djoir Jordan. What's up?
What's up? How are you?
I'm doing good. You added me back probably 3 months ago, and I've been meaning to get you on, but everything happened with Christmas and the New Year. So I'm very pumped to have you on.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I know our schedules have been crazy, so I'm glad we finally made some time for each other. So it's good.
So how has everything been? What have you been up to lately?
Oh, my gosh. Everything has been kind of a whirlwind of things. Since October, I left the label that I was signed with and decided to go on and pursue, finishing my own EP and launching it on my own. So it's been kind of a whirlwind since, November, December when I finally made that decision. So I've been in and out of the studio, writing and recording, working with amazing people like Gemini, who worked with Pooh Bear and Justin Bieber's new album, Purpose. They produced the song Purpose for him, actually, and Jeremy Snyder, and working with Taylor Sparks, and just like all these amazing writers, Seth Von Palace, who, oh my gosh, she's worked with everyone. So it's been kind of a whirlwind just jumping on in, and yeah, it's been exciting. I'm really, really, really looking forward to this release of all these songs. So we're getting closer.
Would you say leaving the label was the best thing you ever did?
It was the best and hardest.
Yeah.
I'm really great friends with them still, and it just was kind of like weird timing for both of us. So I definitely think that, in the future we may link up when the time is right, when they're ready, when I'm ready, or if I'm ready, or if they are ready. It was one of those like bittersweet moments. You're like exciting because you have full creative control. You don't have to answer to anyone, but it's also scary because you're like, gosh, I really hope my fans got my back,
So who has helped you since you left the label? With everybody that you just named, how have they helped you? Have they given you advice? Have they critiqued your work? How has this all gone down?
So I think it's been a number of things. I've definitely been the kind of artist that is open to criticism, open to growing and learning. So everyone has, their own little bits that they have, brought to the table. My biggest thing is I'm like, don't blow smoke with me. Like, if I'm sucking or if you think that lyric is lame, like, tell me, And because of the really unique group of people that I have let into my circle, they definitely hold me accountable as being an authentic artist, making sure that I'm not getting too far into, what everybody else is doing, in the sense of, overproduction or, making sure that every single thing that I record, I can sing live, because that's a big thing too. I want people to be like, wow, the record was amazing and she sounds just like the record, if not better, live. And that is something where, Seth Von Palace has definitely held me accountable with that. And, I think him working over a decade with Linda Perry and who's a huge inspiration to me, that authenticness that has been instilled in him, he is instilling with me, and has no problem telling me what he thinks. So sometimes it, not even just him, just people in general, like, Mr. Dalvin from Jodeci, he mentored me a lot. And it was a lot of, blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, nights where I just wanted to like give up, but it's when you push through those different corrections and things that you can learn from the people around you, and you say, okay, I'm going to take that and I'm going to change it, or, even knowing yourself and being like, well, you know what, that's their opinion, but I know what my purpose is and what the project is about, and, standing firm in what you believe in. And that's where you gain the respect from people in the industry, as well as, showing that you have thick skin and can handle the industry, because it's a crazy one.
What I see with a lot of singers and rappers is they go in it for the fame and just because they want to do it. But what I can sense from your vibe is that you've been wanting to do this for years. Am I right? Because I can just sense the passion through the phone.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I started singing on stage when I was 3. I grew up in my grandmother's church and always loved performing. But yeah, I never ever have thought about it from a famous, perspective. Like, I want to do this because I want to be famous. I've always wanted to do music to be a light to the world and to be a light into people's lives. And, I do it. I don't even do it for myself. Obviously I enjoy performing and being on stage. I really do it for the fans, for my family, for my friends. I want to be able to give my team, amazing experiences on tour and on the road. And I think that when you come from a selfless, place, it actually opens up more doors because you're thinking about the big picture, not just me. And I think that people forget that, especially when they think of, I want to be famous. They're just thinking about how it's just all about them, and nobody likes that. You know what I mean? People can handle it for a while, but at the end of the day, I would rather have longevity than somebody who stepped over people to get to where they need to go and do it kind of the more selfish way of just because they want to be famous. And actually, and stop me if I talk a lot because I love to talk a lot. It's like there's just so many. There's so much more to the industry, to the music industry, than being famous or going on red carpets. There's things that I'm learning every single day. The business side of things, and it's a lot of work. Like, when you're doing it right and you're really getting in there, it is not easy. It doesn't just come. It's sleepless nights. It's, a lot of burden on your shoulders and a lot of pressure. But when you love it so much and you love the people that are in your circle and you love your fans so much, it's so worth it.
That's how I see radio is. If you want to make it in radio or music, film, whatever, you need to love what you're doing and you need to be humble and you cannot burn bridges. Don't you know what I mean? Like, for us to make it, we need to always remember where we came from,
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny. I was watching American Idol the other night and just listening, you can get a lot of inspiration and good words, wisdom and knowledge from people like J-Lo, and she's sitting there saying, you have to have talent and you have to be able to, perform. But the reason why her career has also been so big and what it is because people enjoy working with her, and it's that, she just comes from a real place and is really nice and things like that. And I think, you have to, really, stay true to yourself. Because when you start pretending to be something you're not, that's when people are like, okay, I'm done. They'll figure it out. What do they say? The truth will always find its way or something like that, whatever that saying is.
Now, how do you approach yourself? Because you don't want to be a pushover. Because, the thing with me is I want to have confidence and I want to believe in my show. But at the same time, you don't want to let people walk over you. So how do you approach it?
Well, that's a good question, actually. I am very, very nice.
Yeah.
Super, super nice to people all the time, probably to a point where I shouldn't. But I think that in life, you have to set standards. Yeah. Not, and the thing is when you set different standards of, okay, well, I'm only going to work with these kind of people, it's not necessarily that you're saying, no, I'm not going to work with you anymore, like, you suck. You're just like, okay, I'm going to take your opinion and I'm probably just not going to call you back for this job again. Or, the proof is when that's a hard question to answer, kind of, but without offending anyone. But I would say you just have to be nice and real about it. Can you really get upset at somebody if you say, you know what, the direction that I have for my project and what I have in mind for, the vision, I don't think that we see eye to eye. And because of that, I don't think that you're an awful person. I just think that you're not the right person for what I have in mind for this project. So I think it's, how you word it for sure. And, making sure that they understand that they're just not your cup of tea for this project kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
People have totally said, you know what, Djoir, you need to be more strong, like attitude, and really put your foot down. And to me, I've always questioned, you don't have to be, total CNX Tuesday or whatever you want to call it, to people, because I just don't even think that is necessary unless somebody is totally, backstabbing you. Then I'm like, you know what, you're just cut off, and I'm just not going to talk to you ever again. But I think that, there's different ways that you can handle situations that keep it professional and still strong on what you believe in. I had one person sit down and say there was something that went on and I was not okay with it, and I sat down. I give people chances too. I'm like, hey, this is what I see. This is what, I'm concerned about. Let's talk about this. And then if they do it again, then I'm like, okay, well, that's cool, but, I'm on to my own thing. But I had one person in particular say, you know what, you're too nice. And I'm like, you say that like that's a bad thing? Like, I'd rather be known for being too nice than to be like totally awful to work with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is there any chance that you could ever sort of become like a bitch or someone that's hard to work with? Because right now it's easy for us to say that we wouldn't get an ego, but I feel like if you become someone as big as Howard, let's say for radio, or someone as big as like Bieber, that you somehow change as a person. So is there any chance you would ever change? Because for me, I don't think I would, and I don't think you would, but is there any chance you would?
I don't think I would, because I want to make sure that the inner circle holds me accountable. Every single person, I'm like, if I ever do this, you better slap me and be like, yo, Djoir, knock it off.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of you put people in place to keep me in check if I do have my moment. I would say, if I'm having a moment, I'm probably hangry, which means I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So everyone knows, like, okay, well, she's hangry, so get Djoir some food,
Yeah.
But I don't think that, I don't know. I think I was talking with my manager. We were saying how usually people around you change. The people that don't know their place,
Yeah.
You do this, and all of a sudden they're like, well, I'm mad because I think this, that, and the other. And you're like, wait a second, where is this feeling coming from? Because a lot of the time, I truly don't think that the artists are changing. It's the people that are nervous of their place in the project or their relationship. And people are nervous of the unknown.
Yeah.
And when you're going into the industry, it's an unknown industry. It's an unknown surface when you're just starting out that some people just can't handle not knowing. So that's when they're like, well, she's changed. But it's not that I've changed. It's just, you're either coming along and cool or you're not. So I think that might have a big, something to do with it. Other people thinking that she's changing, but it's actually their own reality of saying, what's my position in Djoir's life or in so-and-so's life. And that's when things get kind of complicated or on the gray side of things.
Now, have you had people that have jumped on the bandwagon, and when you're at the top, they're there, but then when things get a bit bad, then they leave? Because that's what happened for me. When I worked on the biggest show in Cleveland, everybody bought me shots at the bar. Everybody wanted to pick, but then when I got laid off, I then moved to Tampa because there's no reason to be unemployed in Cleveland. So what I'm asking you is, have you had people that were all like messaging you on Facebook when you were at the peak or something, but then when things aren't as good, then they leave? So have you had bandwagoners?
Oh, yeah, there's always going to be bandwagon. There's people that don't ever talk to me, and then they'll say, oh, my really good longtime friend Djoir is doing a Kiss FM interview and blah, blah, blah. I've always thought, I'm like, you don't even text me, let alone call me.
Right? Yeah.
You weren't talking to me. Actually, I saw your Facebook that you were actually talking crap, and you thought I didn't see that, and now you're trying to be my friend. Like, okay, I'm just going to, like, not let that post onto my Facebook page. But, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be people like that. You can't help it. People get excited about things, and as long as you have a good group of people surrounding you, I think that core is important. Those people that are ride or die, that no matter if you have money or no money or a car or no car, they'll be there through thick and thin. And honestly, I'm happy to go through times of tribulation, because you really do see who the genuine people in your life are. Who's really going to stick around, who still believes in you. I would say I've been very fortunate because there has been a lot of ups and downs. The people around me, though, and my fans have been so supportive that when I want to give up, those are the people that actually keep me going. So I've been very fortunate as far as staying positive and staying focused. But, yeah, there's always going to be people jumping on the bandwagon. It's just expected.
Who are some people that have had your back since day one? Because I feel like when we say we want to go into radio or music, people roll their eyes and say good luck. But who are some people that had your back since day one?
I would definitely say my family has been a big support. There were times where they're like, are you going to give this up anytime soon and get a regular job? But for the most part, they see my passion for it. So they've been really supportive. And with that, I would say my longtime friend, Amber, has been someone who, even if we don't talk for a long period of time, we always pick up where we started. And she's always been, there to keep me accountable of, the old times that we used to share. And I just have a lot of my dancer, Punky. She's been with me for a long time. Love her. She's been supporting me since I was playing in front of two people. There's quite a few. I mean, more than a handful, I would say, of people that have been there for me and have even probably seen potential in me before I even thought I could, which has been helpful. So, yeah, there's just so many. I don't want to leave everyone out. But, yeah.
Now, what is the best event or best concert that you've ever performed at? Like, what is one that comes to your mind where you just killed it?
Well, when I was a kid, I performed at Anaheim Stadium, which was pretty epic.
Nice.
When I was in the traveling singing group. That was cool as a kid. I would say now as a solo artist, probably opening for national acts and just getting a really great response from them. I did Alla Caliente before. That was an amazing performance. And it's hard to choose. I mean, I don't know. I can't say. They've all been like, there's special moments. I guess, okay, wait, I got it. I got the one. I was doing a show, and there's this cutest little boy named Enzo. And he came backstage, and he's really, really young, just learning how to talk. And his mom was saying, Enzo, tell her what you said to us in the car on the way here. And he said, I really want to go on stage with you. And I was like, in my head, obviously you want to be like, sure, you can come on stage, but like, oh, maybe someday when you get older. But there was a perfect moment in that show where I spotted him and they had front row seats. And I actually picked him up and brought him on stage. And the smile on his face, it was like the most precious moment I've ever had on stage, and one that I will never, ever forget. So just that moment of bringing him on stage and then lifting him up and having him stand in front of my guitar player while he played a solo, like that was a really cool moment because, you're making a kid's dream, quote unquote, come true. And you could just see the joy in his eyes, and everyone was going crazy in the audience. And it was just an amazing show, an amazing experience, and an amazing moment. So I would say definitely that show. That was at the Canyon Club.
How awesome
really
is it
cool.
when you're up there and you're singing and the whole place is cheering for you? Because I do radio and I'm just here by myself. People listen, obviously, but I've never done a live performance yet. So what is it like when you're up there and you just get the chills down your spine and you're just performing? What is that moment like?
It's amazing. It's adrenaline pumped into your veins. You know, these people smiling, and my whole thing as an artist is I want to be a light to the world. So bringing light into people's lives. You don't know when those people walk into the door what kind of day they had. They could have found out that they had cancer. They could find out that a loved one passed away, or they just broken up with a boyfriend or girlfriend, or it's their first night out in forever, or so many different things walk through those doors when you have a show. So it is the most amazing feeling when people are just smiling and clapping and enjoying themselves. I do it for that, to kind of take them away from anything that they're going through and entertain them and bring light into their lives. It's the most amazing feeling. It's almost like you're like a doctor of feelings, you know?
Yeah.
You're like able to, you know, take them to another place. And my show is so high energy. There's so much high energy to it that you can't help but want to move and dance and jump. So that it's a cool feeling to see that for sure.
What is it about your show that makes people so happy? Like, what do you bring that's so awesome?
I can't put my finger on it necessarily. I think it's something that just comes naturally, but I would definitely say that it's a production.
Yeah.
You know, when you're coming to my show, you are seeing a show. I wanted to make sure that the money spent on tickets, that they're leaving saying, wow, I can't believe I just saw this in this venue. I feel like I should have saw that at Staples Center or Madison Square Garden. That has been my goal from day one. So you'll see costume changes, and I have dancers and a band, and everything is just high energy and smiling and just having so much fun with each other that energy just feeds off into the audience. And I was a gymnast growing up, so I add in a few flips here and there and little things to surprise the audience. I also will pull a select couple of people up and give them a special little present and whisper some inspirational words to them. And so, yeah, it's just an experience. You know, I want to give people an experience, and I really feel that has been what I've done so far with the live show. So it's been exciting. It's been really exciting.
Now, I have ADD and ADHD, so sometimes I get sidetracked. And when I'm in the middle of a rant, sometimes I have this thing where I go, oh, wow, I'm on the radio right now. Do you ever have that where you're singing and you're in front of everybody and you just say to yourself, holy crap, I'm in front of everybody? Or are you like focused most of the time? Like, how is it for you?
Well, I would say for radio interviews, I am so ADD. So I have to like really check myself because I could talk for hours. So, but when it comes to live shows, I'm usually in the moment. If anything, I really feel energy from people, the connection. There's been times where I've locked eyes with a fan and they're literally crying. And I cannot help but get emotional from that moment because I feel the energy. I've always been able to feel things from people, even if they don't even realize it. I literally could walk up to a stranger and be like, are you okay? You know, because I'm so in tune with people's feelings and emotions and stuff like that. So I would say the hardest for me is when people get emotional while I'm singing. And if I see that, oh my gosh, I'm a wreck. I'll forget the words because I'm going to cry. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely do have moments where I'm like, oh, this is cool. You got to, you know, I don't know, both. You have moments of that, but you're so on autopilot from so much rehearsing that even when you're thinking that, you're still going through the motions. So
Now, you're very good. You're very good looking. You have a lot of talent. You're very outgoing. You have everything going for you. Have you ever had any crazy fans that have maybe got too attached to you, or they think that they're friends with you? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever had any crazy fans that you've had to like call the cops on?
Yeah, actually I have.
What's that like?
It's crazy. It's really bizarre. I don't understand it, you know, because I know that some people think that I'm famous. I just think that I'm like you and like the next person, not like, you know, just a human, like a regular person, you know. Obviously, you are an amazing, you know, radio guy. So you're not just
thank you. I appreciate that.
So, but, you know, just an everyday person, you know, that goes and I still pick up my dog's poo when it goes, you know, it's like I'm still a normal human. So it's interesting to me when people get so obsessed. It's flattering. I'm like, wow, they really put a lot of thought into that. But it can be scary at times. I mean, I definitely keep a taser around just in case if I'm home alone.
What's that like? Because I feel like for like girls and women, you have to have like a taser or pepper spray around. Do you ever feel intimidated when you're walking like in Los Angeles? Because for me, I'm 6'9", so I'm never like scared to walk at night. Do you ever feel
You're
like
6'9"? Holy cow.
I know, right?
I love tall men, by the way.
Damn right. I work out too. That's another plus.
There you go. Get that six-pack on. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely scary in LA. I have my moments. I've had a couple of scary things happen in LA. You know, it's a long story, but let's just say I thought I was going to get carjacked, and the person literally pushed my friend out of the way and sat in my car. And, yeah, it was kind of a crazy situation.
That sounds scary.
It was super scary, but you know, what can you do? Can you live your life in fear and never go anywhere?
No.
You know, it's like you can't do that. I hate to say, like, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen regardless of if you want it to or not sometimes, you know? I would definitely say, I mean, I'm a strong girl. I was definitely intimidated. I got the little, like, the resting, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say the word, but the resting
bitch face. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I feel like somebody's like looking at me the wrong way, I just kind of have a good resting bee face, and I can kind of like, you know, I hope that I'm intimidating them, that they're like, don't mess with me, you know, I'm a tough girl. But yeah, there's definitely moments where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lock the car and I'm gonna keep looking forward. But yeah, I don't know. You just can't live your life in fear. So there are moments, but I don't know. You just have to get through it. I don't know if that answered your question well, but
yeah, it makes sense because Los Angeles is the second biggest town. So if a thing happens to you, you can't prevent it. You know what I mean? Like, crazy people will do crazy things. There's no reason to live your life in fear. You might as well just accept if it happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I think people can sense fear too. So if you're scared in that moment, they're going to prey on that even more.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, this person's weak. So for me, if I get approached by somebody or if I feel like I'm getting ready to get into a sticky situation, I'm pretty confident in my stance and how I talk. And even, you know, the situation that I encountered with my girlfriend, Kelly Wheeler, poor little thing. She's like so tiny. This guy like moved her out of the way. We were just packing up to go rock climbing. And you know, eventually went through her purse and sat in my car and all this different stuff. And at the end of the day, I talked him. I literally was able to talk him out of my car. I convinced him that I was not Nicki Minaj and that we were not supposed to be on a tour bus. Because he thought I was Nicki Minaj. He's like, you're Nicki Minaj, and the tour bus is over there. And I'm like, that's a Greyhound bus. And but I convinced him, you know, I was like, listen, I will help you as long as you can just get out of the car, I just want to pull out and then I will help you. And I don't know why he listened to me, but it worked and got away safely from that one. But
What's it like being in Los Angeles? Because it has the vibe and the reputation of just being full of fake people, douchebags, and wannabes. So what is it like for you living in Los Angeles?
well, I am born and raised Southern California.
Yeah.
So normally the people that are douchey or the people that are rude or fake are usually transplants, people that come to LA and think they're LA. I'll never forget, I was at a party in Chicago, and there was somebody there that was originally from Chicago but moved to LA and was getting all caught up in the party scene. And every single word that she would say would sound like this. And like, oh my God, can you believe that? And I was like sitting there, being born and raised in Southern California. Yes, we have our little accents, but it's not like that. So naturally, the smart ass inside of me goes like, oh my God. And she literally stopped and turned around and goes, oh my God, you speak LA too? I died. I literally died in that moment. I was like, oh my gosh, you don't speak LA. You just are LA. You're a normal human being. Like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of one of those moments where you're like, wow, that is so not what LA is. If you were born and raised here, that's so not what it is. But people come in thinking, oh, I have to be this way, I have to be that way. And I think it's kind of sad. A lot of people lose their true identity and who they are because they think that they're trying to be what they're supposed to be. When in actuality, you need to stay true to yourself, be unique. That's why when I decided that I was going to really pursue my music career, I had a lot of people on the way up being in different girl groups and then being a solo artist. People try to tell you what to be and what to become. And I did for a short time start singing about stuff that truly wasn't me on the inside. And when I took a step back, I caught myself, was like, whoa. I took a step back and was like, you know what? I want to be that person that reminds people to be unique, stand out, and reflect your light. So that's where I came up with Diamond Cut. Be Diamond Cut. Be unique, stand out, and reflect your light. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be unique and reflect your personal uniqueness, your light into this world. Because who wants to have someone who's not authentic? You know, who wants to have someone that's fake? Nobody likes that. And I think that, that gets lost in translation, especially with a lot of different celebrities. People don't have a good example of what realness is, like regular lips or a regular butt or like a regular chest, like whatever it is. I mean, if it makes you feel good, go ahead and do it. But there is a point where you got to say like, whoa, like, who are you? Who are you, and try to find that within their hearts. So, it can be kind of crazy, but
I think the biggest thing is that every girl wants to go in there and be the next Kim Kardashian, and every dude wants to go in there and be the next big actor. And I think people just lose sight of what they can be and what they should be. You know what I mean? I feel like the people that move to Los Angeles just try too hard, and that's why they fail badly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was years ago, I was working with a manager at the time, and he said something that stuck with me forever. He said, Djoir. I was like, yes. He goes, you are not Christina Aguilera. You are not Britney Spears. You will never be Britney Spears. You will never be Christina. You will never be Rihanna. You're just never, ever going to be them. And I'm like, okay. He goes, but guess what? Britney, Christina, Rihanna, all these different artists, they will never be you.
Wow, that's deep.
Do you to the best of your ability, and let them do them to the best of their ability. Because when you come from an authentic place and you are who you are, you can't compete with that. You can't. There's no way. It's not saying that I'm better than everyone or I'm better than the next person. No. Nobody's better than anybody. I don't care what your race is, what your voice is, what your dance moves are. No. That doesn't make you better. You might be stronger in certain areas, but if you hone in on the things that make you special, you are uniquely made with a purpose.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever be a clone of you as long as you're true to yourself.
Now,
I held on to that for the rest of my life.
That's what I like about you is you're humble, you keep it real, and you never try to be anybody else, which is why I think you will find major success real soon. So where do you want to see yourself in like 5 years? Like in 2021, what do you want to have going on?
Well, I want to tour like crazy. I want to travel the world and see all my fans. I have the most amazing fans, and I know they all want me to come visit them. So if I could come visit all of them in, Europe and all sorts of places, Africa. I mean, people are like, come visit over here. Japan, all sorts of places. I really want to be on a world tour. I want to be nominated for a Grammy would be amazing. To have a song on Billboard charts would be phenomenal. I mean, I don't want to ever put a cap or have expectations. I have standards that I try to meet throughout my career, and I think by meeting those standards, I will definitely, as long as I don't give up, I'll always be moving forward. I don't ever like to have crazy expectations because you just never know what's going to happen in life. But it would be very nice to have all those things, radio play. I think it would be cool to turn on the radio and then turn the station and then your song's playing on 2 stations at the same time. And there's so many different things that I want to accomplish and do with my career that I can't even say. Who knows where we're going to be in 5 years? Yeah.
It's a good point.
It's hard to even say. And I don't even know if I'm going to be with a label or if I'm going to be independent. Like, what if I could be the next female Macklemore and do it on my own? I mean, the sky's the limit. There are no limitations of what you can become, and I am a strong believer of that. And I think that as long as I stay focused and true to my message, the sky's the limit, and whatever's supposed to happen, we'll find a way, and what will be, And I'm okay with whatever it is, whether it's major success or just performing for military troops or, I don't know, anybody. Like, yeah. I don't care. I don't care what it is because I enjoy what I do. So the sky's the limit for sure, but high expectations, but definitely open to whatever opportunity comes my way.
Now, what I can tell from you is you're very hardworking and you're passionate and you have your eye on the prize. But since you're doing so much, do you ever find yourself like burnt out? Like, what do you do in your free time so that you don't burn out too badly?
It's so funny is that my manager asked me that. He's like, Djoir, how do you unwind? I go, what do you mean? He goes, like, how do you turn off your brain? Like, how do you relax? Like, what do you paint? Do you whatever? I'm like, I don't have time to do those things. He's like, Djoir, you have to pick a hobby because otherwise you'll go insane. But I would say, I love working out. I love working out, and that gives me an hour to refocus my mind. Or yoga is amazing because you have that shavasana at the end and you're just visualizing your true self and what you want to become, and it kind of gives you that moment to yourself. So I like to stay active and go hiking and things like that to kind of clear my mind and stay sane because, yeah, it definitely gets crazy, especially, I'm still an independent artist, so I do a lot of this stuff on my own. So there's a lot on my plate. A lot of people depend on me, and it can definitely be overwhelming. I would say, being able to step away and go work out is one thing, but then also hearing messages from my fans and the people around me that are like, we love you, keep doing it. That motivates me and kind of like keeps me going when I want to give up. But to stay sane, I would say I just work out or go to sleep. I get rest when I go to sleep, which is usually 4 to 5 hours.
Isn't it weird when you work out how it just like makes your day? Like I didn't work out the last 2 days and I just kind of feel weird. But the days that you do work out, it like makes your day and you're in the zone and you feel like motivated. Don't you know what I mean? Like the days you go to the gym
totally.
are your best days.
Yeah, I did not hit the gym today, which I'm totally bummed because I have a photo shoot tomorrow. So I'm like, But yeah, you're definitely right. It definitely gives me more energy. If I can get it done in the morning, usually right when I wake up, I feel the best. At nighttime, I'm really tired, so it's been mentally draining all day and exhausting with all the things that I have going on. So it's harder for me to work out at night. So I try to do it in the morning, but sometimes, you just got to get it in when you can. Do you work out in the morning or night?
I work out in like the afternoon, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Nice.
I have the weirdest workout schedule too. Like one day I'll work out for an hour, the next day I'll just work out for 10 minutes. But even if you work out for just 10 minutes, it's something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
something's better than nothing for sure.
I just hate being on the couch watching Netflix. I don't know how people do it. Like they'll be like, "Oh, I binge watched the whole show this weekend." I'm like, I can't even watch one episode. Like I just get sidetracked. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely binge watched Orange is the New Black and Nashville. So I'm guilty of doing that. But I try to stay active. Like if I'm going to watch Netflix, I'll literally foam roll in front of the TV or I'll do some sit-ups in between, whatever, or try to like work out while I watch TV so I don't feel as lazy. But I try not to start any new shows because then I'm like,
I know.
It's just taking too much time out of my life.
There's so many shows to watch now, too. Like 10 years ago, the shows to watch were like Lost and Prison Break, and you waited each week. And now it's like there's a new show every day, and you feel like you're so behind. You know what I mean? It's amazing now. And
my friends are like, Djoir, you have to watch this show. I'm like, don't tell me about it. I'm not even going to start it. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
So what are some things you have for this year since it's just, it's not even like February yet? What are some plans you have for this whole year?
So the first thing has been to finish my EP. So I am getting so excited finishing up these songs. Going to launch them. I'm pushing for hopefully end of February. I'm hoping. I keep on having to push the date back because I just want it to be so perfect. I want people to get really excited. So it's a little bit different than my older stuff. I was more EDM, dance-driven, and there's definitely a dance beat to this new music that I'm doing, except for it's a little bit more top 40 pop with a slight edginess to it. So I'm really excited. That's my number one main focus. Then it's going to be touring. So I can't really say everything that's going on. I don't have all the final things that are going on. However, we are putting together a tour, picking out the dates, getting everything ready for the EP launch. So once the music's done, it's going to be I'm sure it'll be even more crazy, but that's my main focus right now is getting the EP done, designing a brand new show for my fans, and going back out on the road. And
now, before I let you go, where can your fans and where can all my listeners find your work online so they can catch up with everything?
Yes, you guys can go to my website, Djoir.com. It's spelled a little funny, so it's DJOIR.com. That has everything. My Instagram is at Djoir, DJOIR. My Twitter is at Djoir, DJOIR. And Facebook, you can find me, Djoir or Djoir Jordan. My YouTube is Djoir TV. So that's the only different one, DJOIR, and then T and a V. So, yeah, you can definitely, I'm kind of easy to find, I guess, because I have such a funky way of spelling my name.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, keep up the good work. I'm glad that we were able to make this interview happen. I love what you're doing with music. You're not cliche. You're very good at singing. You can do it live and recorded. So keep up the good work, and this is going to be your year.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time, and thank you for your kind words. That definitely keeps me going and motivated. So I really appreciate you for that. And I look forward to the next time I can come back.
Sounds good. Whenever
Again.
whenever you want to be on Hoppe Hour, just hit me up. I'd love to have you on again.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you. I didn't talk too much, so you're not going to...
Oh, no, this is good. Don't worry.
No, it's great. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you again so much for taking the time. And I'm really excited for this year, and I'm excited for you to see, your career blossom even more from where it's at right now, too.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate
keep
that.
up the good work.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye now.
All right, bye. And that was the very talented and the very lovely Djoir Jordan as she called into Hoppe Hour. You can check out her work by going to Djoir.com. That's DJOIR.com. If you are a fan of her work and you want to hear some of my show, spread the word, go to RyanHoppe.radio.com. That's RyanHoppe radio.com. Also, tweet at me at RyanHoppe and download my app for the Google Play and iPhone shop. Search up Hoppe Radio. You can hear all 71 of my interviews since the show began in May. You can hear my show live and all my rants. And if you want to email me and be a sponsor, it's Ryan at tocoworks.com. That's Ryan at TOCOworks.com. This has been Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.